Everyone knows when it comes to billy cart building, Cracker's the guy to see. But because he's not with you to supervise, make sure you don't start building without an adult to help.
Alright boys, let's run through our material checklist and our tools.
Lucky your dad set everything up so neatly.
Step 1. Cut belly board. To get started, we will create the backbone of our billy cart. Using the tape measure, measure 1 meter down your softwood plank. Using the square, get a nice straight edge and draw it in with a pencil. Using the saw your timber along the line.
If you want to be a little fancy, mark in a semicircle edge just before your line and trim off the corners for a nice round aerodynamic look.
Step 2. Cut main seat. Measure up 4 lots of 400mm increments on your softwood plank. Also measure and mark a 458mm increment, then, using the saw, cut along your lines.
Don't forget to draw nice straight cutting guides.
On 2 of the 400mm softwood planks, draw in a nice curved guide line and then cut off the corners to produce 2 sleek looking seat sides,
so you can race in style.
Step 3. Seat base construction. The base of our seat needs some supports to hold it together. To make your supports, using the tape measure, measure up 2 420mm increments on your 75mm wide hardwood plank. Line them in with your pencil and square and cut them with your saw. Using the drill, pre-drill screw holes in your supports.
It's best to do this so you don't split the hardwood with your screws.
Position the 2 unshaped 400mm softwood planks with the belly board and the supports. Using the drill, drill in the screws to lock everything in place.
A piece of foam would make a great cushion for this hard seat.
Step 4. Steering assembly. Using the tape measure, measure and trim the remainder of your 75mm wide hardwood plank to a size of 550mm. This will become our steering rack. Measure in 275mm to the center of the steering rack and mark a dot with your pencil for the steering bolt hole.
Make sure you mark the holes slightly to the front of the plank so that the bolt doesn't interfere with the front axle when we assemble it.
Using the tape measure, measure in 18mm from the tip of your belly board and mark a dot in the center of the plank with your pencil. Now, use the drill to make holes at these points for your 65mm bolt.
Also, drill a hole in the center of your steering disc.
Line up the 2 holes with the belly board on top and the steering disc placed between. Inset the bolt with a washer at the top and bottom of the assembly and lock it in place with 2 nuts at the bottom. Step 5. Seat edges. Take your 2 400mm softwood planks and drill them to either side of the seat base. Sit them low enough that they are flush with the supports under the seat. Drill the 458mm softwood plank to the rear of the seat, making sure its base and edges line up with your seat's sides. Step 6. Axle assembly. Position your axle brackets on the steering rack for a good fit and using the pencil, mark the location of the screw holes. With the drill, pre-drill these holes and the screws, then drill the brackets into place.
Measure twice, drill once. That way we don't make mistakes.
Assemble the wheels to the axle and place in their split pins, bending them with the pliers to lock them in place. Repeat these steps for the rear axle and wheels. Step 7. Steering rope. With the drill, drill 2 holes in the steering rack in front of the axle to tie your steering rope through. Pass one end of the rope through one of the holes and tie it into a knot underneath the billy cart to prevent it from pulling through. Pass the other end through the other hole, but don't tie a knot just yet. With the driver sitting in the billy cart, test the length of the rope needed for a comfortable hand position. Now, with the perfect length for your driver, tie the rope into a knot underneath the billy cart and cut off the excess. Step 8. Final touches. Sand back all the rough edges for a smooth finish.
Don't forget to wear your dust mask.
Now, let's pad up and find a hill.
Wow, you're done. Wait a minute. First, let's paint her pink. I'm going to name her Pink Girl.
But I'm the one driving this cart to victory.
Then you can wear pink lycra to match. It will be perfect.